Good evening, everybody. Now, on my Facebook and in my content all week, I've been talking about changing your state. And this usually refers to changing your energetic state, is the way I would refer to it. But it basically means changing your mood, changing the way you come across to people, all of that stuff. Now, I've made some notes, so I'm just going to open them so that I don't miss anything. Because, like I said, during this week, we've been talking about changing energetic state. I've explained in somewhat woolly terms, to be honest with you, reading back on these earlier on today, that there are ways of changing your state and not being a slave to your bad moods or procrastination or writer's block or overwhelm or whatever it is that's keeping hold of you. You have the choice. And it's difficult for a lot of people to get their heads around the fact that they've got choice because for so long, English speaking people in particular have been bombarded with things like, oh, who got out of the wrong side of the bed? Oh, there's no point in talking to a bad mood and all that kind of stuff, which is quite frankly hogwash. It is absolute hogwash. It really is. And in the resource folder, there's a couple of really simple breathwork exercises that can help you shift your state. Yeah. But I don't generally speaking recommend breathwork solely to shift state, especially if it's just a state that you're in for the day, or in the moment. When it comes to shifting emotional states that you're stuck in, yeah, yes, breath work is great. But the problem with it being used for like everyday stuff is you get kind of, what's the word? You get kind of dependent on the quick fix. Yeah. And yes, it is a quick fix. Yes, it can get you out of the moment. And, and if you're, I mentioned this as an example today to someone else. Say a medical emergency happens in front of you. Yeah. And you need to get out of, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, into focus very quickly. Yeah. Then there are breathwork exercises that can help you do that. If you're a first responder, you've probably been taught them already. If you're not a first responder or you want to learn that technique, then get in touch with me. Yeah, I can teach you that. It will get you from up there to down here in a matter of moments. Sometimes the simple taking of a deep breath can do that, but it has to be done with the intention of changing your state because your body doesn't understand words. Your body doesn't understand, right, I'm going to take this deep breath and I'm going to feel fine in a minute. Yeah, your body doesn't understand that. You need to have an embodied intention, which again is something that is easily taught, only takes a few minutes. We can do that. We can do that. If anybody wants to hop on live, I can teach you that with the body feedback live. Yeah. Can't really do it just teaching to an empty screen. But the skill to change this state and to do it with intention is really useful. As I explained in the Wednesday post, I went into quite a lot of detail there about how a fellow coach came to me and was just feeling really blur because, oh, dog, just one moment, please. This happens. Is he going to shush? Hang on. Anybody who ever does coaching with me knows that every now and again there is a dog interruption. And you know what? A lot of coaching sessions wouldn't be coaching sessions unless Buddy put in his opinion at some point. It's because it's dusk outside and he can't see out of the front windows because I've closed the curtains and there's still people walking about. But anyway, let's go back to this colleague, this fellow coach. He'd The way it went is he got a complaint come in by email, and he talked to his boss about it. A suitable reply had been sent. Everything had been sorted out, but he still felt there. He still felt icky. He still felt not quite, not quite right. So he needed to have a physical state change. And the way I did it with him at the time was so funny. I know it's not funny. It's not funny. It was so straightforward, so simple. I asked him to stand up. I got him to raise his shoulders up to his ears and drop them just a couple of times. Yeah, to feel that physical change in state. I then got him to raise up onto his toes and drop his whole body back onto his heels, like a thud through his whole body. Then I put some loud music on and encouraged him to bounce. Just bounce around the room, jig about, move his body with the music. Yeah. And that bouncing enabled his nervous system to reconnect with the floor, reconnect to the certainty of control. Yeah. Because he felt out of control, because he felt that other people's opinions were being changed of him by this person's email that was only seen by him. Yeah. His oldest part of his brain had run away and changed a perfectly cool, calm, and collected individual into a real stress bucket. But after sort of 20, 30 seconds of bouncing, I pointed out to him that he was grinning. And he replied, what was the phrase he said? Because now is right now. Sorry, because now is right now. That's not what he said. Because how? Oh, yes, because how I am right now is no more real than that email. I even read it wrong then. Because how I am right now is more real than that email. Yeah. So I then asked him, if you always do your best, what does that email say about you? And he replied, nothing. Then we both had a laugh. Yeah. And as I said in my Wednesday posts, that's just like one tool to change your energetic state. That's the one that we simply just call movement. Physical movement can change your mental state because your body can communicate with your mind far more effectively than your mind can communicate with your mind. Yeah. Because I mean, in that moment, he realized that the truth of his mood was just a creation in his head, even if he didn't understand the words to express that at the time. Yeah. So, I mean, let me ask you, I can't tell how many people are watching because there's no one actually in the Zoom room, and I can't see how many people are watching on the Facebook because I'm not in Facebook, if you see what I mean. I'm just watching a preview so that I can see the comments come up. Now, okay, so what was the question? Do you think that it's true that you can help the mood you're in? Yeah. Do you think that you actually have the ability to influence that mood? Or is the mood you're in just something that you're stuck with? Because I think you can not only help the mood that you're in, but you can completely change it if you want to. If you have the true, integrated, aligned intention to change it. I believe that the mood that you are in is a choice. Yeah. It's a choice that you make to either stay in that mood or change the mood. There are so many physical reasons why we could, for instance, wake up in a shitty mood one morning. Yeah. But how many reasons are good reasons to stay in that shitty mood for the rest of the day? Does your family, your dog, your cat, your work colleagues, do they appreciate your shitty mood? Maybe being in that shitty mood gives you space. Yeah. Makes people at work give you a wide margin. If it's space that you need, then creating that shitty mood and allowing that shitty mood to continue, yeah, is great. But if all you need is space to change your mood, why, when you're given that space, do you not change your mood? Yeah. How will you choose to exist? How will you choose to be today, tomorrow? Yeah. Now, at this point, I have my intuition barking in the back of my head saying, what about people who are in deep depression? Now, the thing about depression is not only are there a number of causes for depression, some of which have got nothing to do with mood, yeah, and nothing to do with emotions and nothing to do with trauma, yeah. There are lots of different kinds of depression. But if we just talk generally for a moment, yeah, if someone came to me and said that they were in a really foul mood and they weren't able to change their mood because they were depressed, the first question I'm going to ask is, have you taken your meds today? Because some varieties, several varieties of depression can be really effectively treated and supported with medication to rebalance the out of balance chemicals in your brain. I mean, we could go into a long, long discussion here about why brain chemicals become out of balance, because that can be caused by trauma. Yeah? But let's just keep it high levels, keep it simple. Yeah. Have you taken your meds or not? Because that's a choice in itself. Yeah. It is a choice. And and by medication, I don't always and automatically mean have you taken your mood stabilizing medication? Yeah. It could also be, have you taken your hormone replacement therapy? Have you taken your painkillers? Have you taken the vitamins that you know that your body needs? That's always going to be the first place I go. And the reason why it's the first place is because sometimes that can be enough for someone to say, hang on, I don't like the way that medication is making me feel, so I've stopped taking the medication to see how I feel without it. Yeah. And that's a really good discussion to have. Of course it is. But I'm talking right now about the, waking up in a bad mood because you've slept with it, crick in your neck and your body's in pain and your body's trying to find a way of communicating to you. Be gentle with me today. I've slept a bit funny. Yeah. Be gentle with me. Give me opportunities to stretch and move, to unstick the stuck energy within those stuck muscles. I mean, let me ask you another question. Why would you want to change your state? Why would you want to change your mood? Let's look at a couple of the reasons why you might want to. Yeah. Um, fuzzy thing. For those of you who have read and understand the law of attraction stuff, there's all of those reasons why you might want to change your state. Because you attract what you put out. Yeah. If you want to come right the way down, from all of that law of attraction stuff that's quite difficult for a lot of people, real people in the real world to understand, yeah? How about you want to change your mood so that you just have a better time? Yeah. Or so that you can reduce the pressure that fight or flight stress puts on your internal organs. When your body is flooded with adrenaline and cortisol most of the time, the stress caused on your internal organs can create everything from non-alcoholic fatty liver disease right the way through to heart problems. And if you've already got those kind of things running in your genetics, you don't need that kind of stress. If you're stuck in the pattern of putting your own needs last, and those are the people who are going to be in this group for people pleasers. Yeah. How about letting your children, your family, your pets, your work colleagues, even your neighbors, yeah? How about putting them first and saying, my kids don't need this, my family don't need this, my work colleagues don't deserve this. Do they deserve the prickly side of you that got out of bed the wrong side? Do they? Do they really? Do you? Yeah. Think about these things. Do you deserve to spend all day in a shitty mood just because you got out of bed the wrong side? It's a question worth asking, isn't it? Yeah. Now, when I work with clients, either one-to-one or in small groups, yeah, there's lots of different techniques I use for helping a person change their state. Oh, there goes the dog again. I might have to shout at him again. Hang on a second. Or distract him. I think it's that time of day when college kids get home from school. Hello, mate. Or from home from college, even. Good boy. Are you a good boy? Yes, you are. Yes, he is. He's a good boy. See, I've changed his state from being, you know, on guard, from being the terrifying defender of the house to soppy little monkey was my little man. Yes, he was. Yes, he is. And now he's breathing through his nose instead of woofing through his gob. Let's just have another check for questions before we go back. Live chat. Oh, cool. Now I can see all the people who are watching. Hello, Lily. Hello, Alan. Hello, Teresa. It's fun to actually talk to people. And sometimes when I'm on these calls where I'm using Zoom to broadcast, it's because there may be a question asked where I suddenly need to share my screen with you. Yeah. And you can't do that on Facebook Live. Well, you can, but then it's really difficult for me to like flick backwards and forwards. Whereas Zoom is something that I have used a lot. So that doesn't intimidate me or make me feel uncomfortable or nervous. Because like I said, you don't need that kind of energy on a workshop. Yeah. So let's look at some of the techniques that I might use to help you change your state if you're stuck somewhere. I suppose the most frequent one is asking challenging but compassionate questions to help you get to the bottom of why your body and mind believe that being in that dark mood is serving you. Yeah. And it may come up with, those questions and that discussion may come up with a number of really good reasons why being in that dark mood is the best place for you right now. Yeah. But to get out of that mood, using breath work and movement to release that stuckness is quite often the first go-to. Because we are all humans, we all breathe, we all need to move. And that's why those things are the first thing to try. If you've broken your leg, the first thing to do is go to A&E. Yeah? Get that little X-rayed. Get it set in a cast. Then you can look at things like the nutrition that you need to help your bone heal quick and strong. Then you can look at all of the jobs that you can do around the house that you can do. God, all this fluff. My dog is molting like you wouldn't believe it. Because every time I touch him and then my hands do this, I get fluff. Mr. Fluffy. It's Mr. Fluffy. Yeah, so broken leg. First thing you do is you go to A&E. Yeah. The second thing you do is look at your nutrition. Then you might look at tasks you can do around the house, like knitting squares for charity or relearning how to crochet from YouTube. Yes, that's how I did it. Um, and then as you become fitter and stronger, once your cast is off, you then look at things like physiotherapy. Yeah. The different ways that you can strengthen that broken part of your bone. Retighten and strengthen the muscles around it. And the reason why I'm using this breaking a bone thing is because it's so blatantly obvious by using an X-ray that you can see when a bone is broke. Yeah. But it's not always possible to see why the dark mood that you're in is serving you. And that's why I start with challenging and compassionate questions to find out why that dark mood, that black mood, that down mood, why it's serving you. Because in asking those questions, we can sometimes not only get to the bottom of why it is serving you, but we could possibly get to the bottom of why it's not serving you. And in those moments of, I'm going to use the word enlightenment. Yeah. That moment when you realize, oh shit, this is doing nothing but harming me and the people around me. That can sometimes be enough to challenge the mood, to challenge the set of hormones and things that are going on to keep you low. Yeah. We talk about fight or flight. Something that we don't talk about quite so often is the fawn and freeze. Sometimes those dark moods can keep us quiet, can keep us out of our window of tolerance still, but down in that quiet stillness where we can really dig into that stuckness and work through it, work beyond it, create coping mechanisms, not just for us, but for people who have to deal with us on the daily. Any questions, anybody? It's time to type them in the chat if you're going to type them in the chat, because I'm going to go back to Zoom just to check if anybody is in there asking questions. No, there's nothing in there either. So for the last few minutes of this call, I'm just going to waffle a bit in case anybody's got any questions. So depending on where you are seeing this video, actually, all of the places where you're likely to see this video, there's going to be comments below. Yeah, whether you see it in a few months' time, all edited up and pretty and whatnot. Pretty, there's a laugh. Whether you see it in future weeks on YouTube, there's a place to put comments. If you see it on Facebook, there's always a place to put comments. If you're in the Facebook group, of course, your comments are going to be addressed much quicker. So if you are not in the Facebook group, get yourself in the Facebook group. What else could I say? Yes, this is the 18th of January 2024. Now there is still technically time for you to take advantage of the Christmas offer, which was £66 for 1 hour of one-to-one coaching with half price off a second hour, but you'd have to really get your tools in gear, yeah, to have time to book the first hour and then book a second hour. But if you're quick enough, you can still get it in. It's all got to be done by the end of January. If not, and you want to have a quick tryout session with me before the end of January, then you can have 30 minutes for £33. Of course, the strategy calls are still free at the moment. While I'm filling up the program again, it's odd. I get busy times in the program and then it goes really quiet, and then there's busy times and then it goes really quiet. Currently, we're at the really quiet stage. So if anybody is interested in finding out any more about the 3Ps system, it's a program for people pleasers. 13 weeks of content over 20 weeks. So you've got 13 weeks of content and 7 weeks of integration support. There are breath works, there's meditations, there's all kinds of I'm getting smiley faces. All kinds of little added extras with that, as well as weekly Q&A calls on a Tuesday. We've recently changed from Wednesdays to Tuesdays. So that's the program. If you're in the Facebook group, there is a video where I talk about people pleasers and how they can benefit from the program. What else could I talk about? We've done program, we've done offer, we've done get yourself in the Facebook group. We've gone, oh yeah, podcast. I have just uploaded episode 47 of my radio show style podcast. It's every week. It's broadcast live on rendleshamradio.com and then is uploaded later on in the day to Spotify. If you subscribe there, you'll get notifications every time there's a new episode. The format of that is going to be changing around about March, April time, and we'll probably go down to half an hour. But there may well be 2 half hours in a week rather than a single 1 hour show. But we'll see how that goes. I haven't quite put that together yet. All I've decided is that it needs to change. And let's change it up a bit. But I haven't decided how to change it just yet. Is there anything else? No, I don't think there is. And as there have been no questions come in on there or on there, I'm going to end this call now. It's been lovely spending a bit of time with you, and thank you for those who are watching live. That's Lily, my sister Lily, Alan Page, and Teresa Fife. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, and I will see you all soon. Bye for now.